We've never seen a young quarterback this talented be given a great defense like this, a run game with DeAndre Swift, and all of the passing weapons to hit the ground running. I like the over.
This is Sharp Money with Patrick Meagher on VSiN, the sports betting network.
So it was, let's be fair, it was a resounding win for Palm last week. He is up 5-3-1 so far. Palm versus the big guy. The big guy won the coin toss backstage, and he will go first. Dustin Swedelson, 30-second shot clock. You're up. Major League Baseball, human umps or robo-umps?
I just want the right call. Accepting human error is a human error. Like, when AI takes over the world, this is why I'm siding with them. AI would just get things right. Humans continue to get things wrong, then defend themselves getting it wrong. AI corrects itself. Computers correct themselves. The goal is to get things right because at the end of the day, careers are decided. Championships are decided. Guys getting called up and down are decided, all because of one or two missed calls that can lead to other situations happening in a butterfly effect. I want robot umps. Get the calls right.
Patrick, this is a tough one for me because, as many people know, I was an umpire growing up, worked the state tournament finals in Iowa, worked in the Big 12. At that time, it was the Big 8 and the Big 10 in baseball and softball. But two things really sway me to agree with Dustin here. One is just the Angel Hernandezes of the world and how they're blatantly wrong about everything and not trying to get better. This umpires union is the strongest in the world. And the other is, 3 years ago, I was at Saratoga for a meet, and I ended up sitting in the grandstand next to Timmy Higgins, very famous NCAA basketball referee, who told me, Mike, they got to go to the robotic umpires. They use it in AAA. They use it in AA. It works perfectly. No arguments. That convinced me.
Okay, here we go. Mike Palm. Who was or is the best SportsCenter anchor of all time?
Wow, this is a tough question. Patrick, you could come up with like 20 great ones. Very good question here. I'm going to go with Stuart Scott. I think Stuart Scott transformed SportsCenter and brought a much bigger audience to it at the time he was there. So smooth, so dynamic with his phrasing, and yet at the same time he was an actual newsman. Rest in peace. I've got Stuart Scott number one.
I agree with Mike. It's Stuart Scott, like gravy on a biscuit. Call him butter. He must be on a roll. Booyah. And as cool as the other side of the pillow. But more importantly for me, Stuart Scott went on Letterman one time, told his story about being an athlete who was also the lead in the school play in high school. And as someone who played sports and acted in high school, I admired him a ton. And I kind of found my path into this world because of him.
Dustin Swedelson, Chicago Bears win total right now, DraftKings, 8.5. Over is minus 145. You taking the over or under on the Bears?
So I get that it's trendy, so you want to be a little fearful of jumping on the bandwagon here, but you look at their out of division. Carolina, Arizona, Indianapolis, San Fran's a tough one, but Washington, Jacksonville, Rams, Pats, Seahawks, Titans, 8 of those are winnable. In division, Minnesota's got Darnold and McCarthy at quarterback. Don't know how that's going to work out. And we look at the situation for Caleb Williams. We've never seen a young quarterback this talented be given a great defense like this, a run game with DeAndre Swift, and all of the passing weapons to hit the ground running. I like the over.
I lean over, Patrick, and Dustin's right about their out of division schedule. I think the defense was really underrated. It was the best run defense in the whole NFL last year and propelled them. If Fields had been a little bit more accurate early, they might have been a playoff team last year. I think they're a playoff team this year, but here's my word of caution. I don't bet NFL win totals until the schedule comes out because there's spots where teams are kind of gifted wins and there's spots that are almost impossible to win.
Okay, good one. Yes, there's variance year to year, but your best guess, Mike Palm. Home court in the NBA matters more in the postseason than home ice in the NHL. Why?
Because of the frequency of scoring, the variance in that in the two leagues. Hockey is a game where there might only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. We see the totals are 5.5. So a road goal is so much more important than a road basket or 2 baskets or even a 6-0 run. Early road goals can take crowds out of a game. Whereas in basketball, a team can get down 16-0 at home. The crowd's not sitting on their hands. You can win down 25 in the NBA. You can win down 20 in the second half.
Yeah, the NBA is a game of runs, and with that, some of these NBA players embrace the villainous role a little bit more, I think, than the NHL. They feed off of that crowd. It's like, your tears only make me stronger. And then here's a fun scientific fact for you, because I am nothing if I'm not an amateur scientist. Cold temperatures are good for nerves and anxiety. Ice water to the face when you're having a panic attack helps things out. Been there many times. I think the cold ice helps soothe these guys, and they're not as nervous playing on the road in scary environments.
Did you know that you should swim in cold water? That swimming in cold water burns 3 times the calories.
That's why all these in shape people are doing these ice plunges at their house.
Dustin took last week's loss personal. You can tell. All right, this is for you, Dustin Swedelson. Yes. Tom Brady roast was a hit. What athlete would you choose to be the next to get roasted?
Yeah, look, it's really important if you're going to do a roast, there needs to be a few elements at play. They need to be great at whatever they did so you can knock them down a peg. They need to have a few demons because everyone likes some good low-hanging fruit jokes. And the jokes need to be able to cross boundaries. So when I look at those, that means Tiger Woods would be the perfect person to roast. The infidelity, being the kid machine at golf, the stuff with his father, the incident in the driveway could lead to so many jokes, and then plus the car accident at the end. There's just so many options when it comes to Tiger Woods.
I had Tiger in my final 3 as well, Michael Jordan, but ultimately I landed on Kim Mulkey. Patrick, and yes, she was an athlete and All-American, but how about some former players coming back and roast? I'd love to hear Brittany Griner talk about her time in Russia and the support, or some of her teammates about her inclusivity, or maybe some of her former assistant coaches, maybe some administrators at Baylor, where she left them high and dry, in Louisiana Tech, or maybe some opponents as well. I think that would be a hell of a roast.
Mike Palm, who was or is the best comedian of all time?
With an honorable mention to Robin Williams, my favorite of all time was George Carlin. George Carlin could attack any subject and make it funny, whether it was mental disease, whether it was sports. His treatise on religion are tremendous. The 7 words that you can't say on television. If you go back, it's all gold, and he did it for almost 40 years.
I'm going to go old school on because to me, comedians not just need to push the line, they need to create new lines. It helps with free speech in this country. The comedian I'm going to go with was known for obscenity, satire, and vulgarity. And he was so convicted in his ability to tell these jokes with no fear, he got arrested 8 times for it. Lenny Bruce is the greatest comedian of all time. 8 arrests, 6 trials, all in the name of pushing political correctness to the side and creating jokes for the future. He is the father of stand-up comedy. He's the greatest comedian of all time.
Homer call. Homer.
He's fired up.
Homer call.
Dustin Swedelson, Blackjack or Craps?
Yeah, so I'm really intimidated by both of these games. The thing with Blackjack is I don't like sitting at a table where people are seasoned Blackjack players, and I'm going to mess up whatever their count is, whatever the rules are. But when compared to Craps, there's way less to follow. Craps is the most intimidating game in the entire casino. That includes speaking to women for me. That would be number 2 for me, speaking to women. Playing Craps, there's so many things you have to do. There's so much pressure on you to do it right. I don't know what's happening on that table.
This is an easy one for me. I love Craps. There's nothing like the excitement of a hot table and what kind of a communal event that becomes. Blackjack to me is very, very, very boring. And at the end of the day, it comes down to this. You bust, she busts, and you lose, I'll take a pass.
All right, I'm going to call it there because I want to get this graded. All right, so this was a game of streaks today.
Oh.
Dustin started off hot. Butterfly effect with the umps was tremendous. You admitting that you were in plays in high school and Stuart Scott, that took you over the edge.
I was in Macbeth.
You brought up the Bears schedule, so you started off 3-0. Then here comes Mike Palm. Mike Palm easily won the NHL NBA conversation. I originally had you winning the roast one, Dustin, but Kim Mulkey's the funniest answer we've had in a long time.
Civil War jokes would be great with that one.
That goes to Mike Palm. Mike Palm won the Blackjack v. Craps conversation, so that comes down to one answer. and it was going to be a push. But I got to be honest, Dustin was like, he was prepared today. Dustin won the Lenny Bruce Comedian, so he wins 4-3 today.
That's my guy. Shout out to the Old Testament coming through again.
Mike Palm still leads 5-4-1, but I have to say, like I said, Mike, he took it personal. He was prepared today.
I got beat pretty bad a week ago.
Yeah, Tom Gable texted me. I don't know where Patrick scored one for Dustin. Should have been a clean sweep. Let's leave you with this. Red Button said, why are all the greatest comedians Jewish and the greatest singers Italian? When you think about it, what's the difference? 1 year of high school? Thanks, guys.